It's exactly 4 p.m. or a few minutes to 4 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us on News Now here in the capital. We're going to be telling you all the stories that are going to be making headlines. But first, let's take a look at the highlights.
The highlights. The High Court has on Wednesday ruled that police officers deployed to manage protests must be in uniform and must not conceal their faces. Also, a bitter family dispute threatens the burial of a 13-year-old daughter, Peace Mwende, who was killed in a tragic lion attack in Kajiado. And 15 people suspected to be members of a gang identified as Jeshi Jinga have been arrested in Mumias, Kakamega County after a spate of terror.
All right, thank you so much once again for joining us. My name is Hibaq. To start us off, the High Court has on Wednesday ruled that police officers deployed to manage protests must be in uniform and must not conceal their faces. In his ruling, Justice Bahati Mwamuye declared the ban on holding protests in Nairobi's Central Business District issued by the police. And of course, in his ruling, Justice Bahati had said that these protests would be in a case filed by 11 protesters who argued that police used excessive force, dubbing the finance bill protests. The court awarded the petitioners 2.2 million in general and exemplary damages.
I now need to give you either a mention date for directions or those directions right now.
My Lord, the respondent can be given time to respond to the petition.
Yes.
And then after their response, we can be given 14 days to file further affidavit.
For highlighting, then I'll give you only up until the date for highlighting. Mr. Weche, you confirm?
Yes, Your Lordship, I do confirm. I'm agreeable to that.
That it required prerequisites, the awards of 100,000 each, and in general damages, and 100,000 exemplary damages for violation of constitutional rights as awarded above shall be borne by the state and not by the second and third respondents individually. The above quantum of damages shall attract interest at court rates from the date of judgment until payment in full. Costs of this suit shall be borne by the respondents.
Elsewhere, 15 people suspected to be members of a notorious gang identified as Jeshi Jinga have been arrested in Mumias, Kakamega County. According to the Deputy Commissioner in the region, Beatrice Odiro, the suspects were intercepted and arrested with 15 cows and a canter lorry in their possession, which was suspected to have been stolen from neighboring counties. Odiro observed that the suspects wore fake police uniform, further revealing that the Jeshi Jinga gang has been terrorizing residents of Kakamega, Siaya, and Bungoma counties.
Hii shughuli ambayo tunaifanya, kuna vijana ambao wamekuwa wabaya sana. Hapa kwangu wanajiita Jeshi Jinga. Jeshi Jinga tumefanya operesheni leo usiku na tumeweza kupata vijana wako na sera rasmi ya polisi, ambayo wakifanya hiyo operation yao usiku utafikiria ni polisi na kumbe sio, sisi ni wakora. Kwa hizi manguo ambazo wanazivaa ni zile manguo ambazo zinauzwa kwa mitumba na zinakaa kama zetu. Ningelipenda kusema hivi ya kwamba hizo nguo si nzuri, hata kama mnaziuza si nzuri, kwa sababu vijana wetu wanasitumia kuterrorize watu usiku. Na bado tunaendelea na operesheni ya wizi ya ng'ombe na operesheni ya Jeshi Jinga.
Kwa hivyo kwa wakati huu katika ofisi ya naibu wa kamishna tuko na ng'ombe 15 ambao tunatarajia walalamishi kutoka sehemu mbalimbali za Kakamega County wakuje kuzitambua.
Now, normal business has been interrupted as residents of Mailine Town, Darago constituency in Nyandarua County stormed Mailine police station calling for removal of the OCS over alleged incompetence. Led by the local business community leaders, the residents complained and added that since the new OCS came into office, cases of robbery with violence and mugging have surged, and when such reports are taken to police, they tend to ignore them or send them to complaints and go back to collective evidence. The residents call the government to take action and the state of health in Nakuru.
Ile imetuweka kidoda, ile imefanya kidoda iwe kwa msumari. Kijana mmoja wetu hapa alibiwa ile ya mwisho. Sande ile ingine sio sande hii. Wakati alibiwa, wakati alikuja hapa anasema usiezi alimwambia kuna nyesha.
Tumeibiwa, kwa maduka zimeibiwa na evidence iko. Manyumba zimeibiwa, evidence iko. Ng'ombe na mbuzi zimeibiwa, evidence iko. Magari zimevujwa, evidence iko. Waizi wameshikwa na mbuzi na evidence iko. Lakini hakuna kitu imefanyika kwa hao wenye wanaripotiwa hapa.
Hii police station imekuwa police station ya kitu kidogo.
Yes.
Leo hii tumesema kama OCS na askari wake hawatachukua hatua kwa ushahidi inayoletwa. Ni aidha uende ama tuende.
Munasema wizi imeongezeka huku. Mimi nimesimama hapa at proud at board kuambia namna gani nyinyi kati yenu ndio mna contribute hata hiyo wizi iendelee. Nashika mtu unapeleka kotini, unaenda unalipwa huko na video, niko na evidence hapa. Nataka niwapee hiyo alafu niende nikajitayarishe kwenda mahali nataka.
Right. A section of human rights defenders in collaboration with partners from neighboring counties have expressed dismay over the current state of healthcare governance in Nakuru County. Speaking to journalists in Nakuru, the group called for the county government to establish an independent health oversight task force to assess service delivery gaps and propose reforms across public health institutions, among other issues.
Sauti iko sawa?
The system is under strain, people are dying, and leadership is alarmingly silent. Over the past 5 months, the absence of direct and consistent leadership in the county has been deeply felt not as a political issue, but as a governance concern with far-reaching implications. While we respect the office of the governor, leadership cannot be symbolic when lives are at stake. We must raise concern about critical service delivery gaps, especially in the health sector, that require urgent attention.
We demand the immediate formation of an independent health oversight task force within 14 days to begin reviewing the crisis. Secondly, fast-track the reopening of Nakuru War Memorial Hospital in compliance with court directives and public interest.
We call on all arms of the county government to rise above politics and deliver services with urgency and compassion. We remain committed to supporting the county government in fulfilling its mandates because a healthy Nakuru is a thriving Nakuru.
Mambo ambayo yamekuwa yakiendelea pale PGH, nilifanya kupata watoto huko wawili. I got twins from PGH na nilikuwa nafaa kuwa patient wa emergency na nilikaa sana kabla nifanyiwe operation, na after kufanyiwa operation the services were very poor. We were required tuende tuoge na maji ambayo ni baridi, na huu ni patient ambaye ametoka kufanyiwa CS, na baada ya hiyo tukafanywa tulale watu wawili kwa kitanda kimoja. Chakula za huko ni mbaya, watu wanakuwa neglected. Ukisema uko na uchungu unaambiwa uvumilia ama unaambiwa ungoje utapewa painkiller ambayo inachukua muda mrefu sana.
Moving on, a nasty family quarrel threatens the burial of a 13-year-old girl who died in a tragic lion attack in Kajiado County. The burial of Peace Mwende hangs in the balance after a standoff emerged between her mother and her estranged biological father, I beg your pardon, over where she should be buried and who gets to lead the procession. Mike Charlo with this developing story.
It's a family torn apart by grief and now by conflict after 13-year-old Peace Mwende, a grade 7 pupil at Olosirikon Primary School, was fatally mauled by a lioness inside a ranch bordering Nairobi National Park during a visit to a biological father who works in the park.
Wakasimama, wakatoka wa mama wakatoka, wakaniuliza mtoto wako wapi? Nikamwambia alienda kusalimia mwenye tulisaa na yeye. Hapo ndio sasa wakaniambia mtoto wako usistuke, mtoto wako alikulewa na simba usiku.
Her mother, Elizabeth Mawia, says she was only informed after the girl's body had already been taken to the mortuary despite living just a short distance away. She claims the father is now interfering with the funeral plans and is demanding the burial to be held in Eldoret.
Mtoto nimelea peke yangu mpaka pahali amekuja kuniacha.
Elizabeth, a struggling single mother of 4, wants to bury her daughter at home in Kitui West and holds all legal documents to support her claim. Elizabeth, a struggling single mother of 4, wants to bury her daughter at home in Kitui West and holds all legal documents to support her claim. The uncle believes the dispute is driven by the KWS compensation. He says the man was never present in the girl's life.
Mawazo yangu nafikiria na ile benefit they are expecting from the government.
The father, who was reached by phone, only said the funeral plans were ongoing but declined to give further details. Mike Chelo, TV47.
And a section of activists alongside female student leaders from universities have urged the government to create specific legislation to address the issue of violence against women. Now, the women, led by Nairobi Southward Representative Waithera Chege, state that despite being faced with violence, a law against violence towards women will assist in investigating the causes of these murders and prevent them from happening again. These women are also calling for a special court to address cases of violence against women in the country.
Student power! Women power!
Agency team. Currently, Kenyan law does not recognize femicide as a distinct crime. Perpetrators are charged with murder or manslaughter without acknowledgement of the gender-based motivations behind their actions. This gap in our legal framework undermines our ability to address the root causes of this violence and develops targeted interventions. While the government has shown some goodwill through the creation of Femicide Task Force, led by the former Deputy Chief Justice Nancy Balaza, much remains to be done to assure Kenyans, women and girls that they are safe.
We call upon the Kenyan government to enact a Gender-Motivated Killings Act that explicitly defines and criminalizes femicide. Direct the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics to collect and publish comprehensive data on femicide cases.
Health stakeholders, led by MSF, the Doctors Without Borders organization, has called upon the Ministry of Health to formulate clear guidelines and policies that will aid in the eradication of drug usage in the country. Speaking in Nairobi, Kiambu County Health Department representative Dr. Nicole Maina categorized addiction as a disease and advised the community against stigmatizing addicts in the society, and drug addict survivors, led by Maurice Kariuki, called upon the national government to ensure that there is constant supply of methadone, the medicine used to help addicts quit drugs.
People who inject drugs. Earlier, when we were starting the program, the prevalence was really high because we realized that with the injection behavior, then there comes a risk of HIV infection because these PWIDs in the dens and in these spots, they tend to share needles. And hence the national program found it important to initiate interventions that by saying we call them harm reduction. There are strategies to ensure that they don't transmit the HIV infections. One of them.
That the government might not be well equipped to fully
fund and support people who use drugs, especially on their journey towards recovery. So it is our big request to our government of Kiambu and to the government of Kenya to really intensify, as we know currently and presently, that the drug problem has been ailing our nation predominantly.
It is a government commitment that
On that somewhat high note, we conclude this bulletin. Thank you so much for being a part of News Now. These stories and many more will be updated in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Hibaq. Have yourselves a very lovely afternoon.